On, you tried it. You tried it on. Now look, this is what I thought was about to happen, y'all. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not going to be home tonight. I'm not going to be home until tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to a girls' night, in, out, birthday, sleepover, party celebration. And I'm not going to be home until about 2-ish tomorrow. And I'm probably not going to be in the best, mind space when I get home. So, I saw online that tonight's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville is already up. And I said, oh, we about to do a Power move. Remember how Power, I could do the review for Power at like 10 o'clock in the morning because it was on demand. Boom, boom, boom. I said, cool. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to go ahead and watch Love in Huntsville before I jump in the shower, pack it up, and get on out of here for my, my night. Because we starting with late lunch, early dinner at 3:30, right? So it's like, I got to get ready to get up out of here. So I'm going to sit down and watch this episode. Go on and get the people what they want because I'm loving this show. Y'all are loving the reviews and life is great. Shout out, before I forget, shout out Random TV Reviews. Thank you so much for the shout out. Thank you so much for the support. I love y'all. And it's so funny. Y'all review last week was my review. It seemed like it was the exact same review. We the same people. But it's all good. So I sit down to watch the episode, right? And I'm getting it. I'm taking my notes. I'm ready to go. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. And then it cuts off. I said, well, what in the flam is this? Oh, and you tried it. They only gave me 31 minutes of the damn episode. That's the same thing they did when they did the little preview episode. I only saw 31 minutes of it. So that's why I didn't do a review until the whole episode came out. So here's what I'm about to do. Because I said, you know what? All right, I'm just going to wait until tomorrow. I was going to put a little post up letting y'all know. But I'm going to just go on and do the first half because this first half is so much information, so much stuff that already went down in the first 31 minutes. I'm going to just do a part 1 and a part 2. I'm going to go ahead and knock this 31 minutes out, but just know it's not the whole episode, and I'll give y'all part 2 tomorrow afternoon-ish. My girlfriend, look, it's one of my girls' birthday parties. So the one that's like hosting the party, she didn't already send me a picture of her at the liquor store. She probably got about $200 worth of liquor. It's about to go down. Alright, back to this. So look, Love and Marriage Huntsville we are season 1 episode 5, right? Vegas. I said Vegas. Vegas been on my mind. I think I might need to take a trip. I've been talking about Vegas for like a month now. Miami Nights. Miami Vice, Miami Nights. And speaking of Miami Vice, I think Martell thought that he was in an episode of Miami Vice with that shirt he had on when he showed up for the bachelor party. But we'll talk about that later. So we start the episode off. We see it's after the dinner. Letitia, you either Carlos King got you being messy. I shouldn't even put that on Carlos. But you being either messy or you ditzy. One of the two. But I think it's somewhere in the middle. Talking about I know that I might have stirred up a little trouble at dinner, by asking a lot of questions. But hopefully we can just put that behind us. No, you didn't stir up a mess at dinner by asking a lot of questions. You asked one question, and you asked that man about his infidelity at his damn 10-year anniversary dinner. That was neither the time nor the place. But anyway, moving on. So Letitia and Melanie sit down for lunch. And basically Melanie is telling Letitia, look, girl, I have the blueprint. I can show you how to make this marriage / working thing work, how it's going to make your marriage work. Now, what in the hell made Melanie think that she's in any place to give anybody any marital advice at any point in time right now? Because what we also found out this episode is that, and y'all can tell me, things are a whole lot worse for Melanie and Martell than I think any of us really understood. I know for me. Because we went from the first episode, it was just a rumor. The second episode, well, maybe something happened. The third episode, yeah, I had an affair for about a year. The fourth episode, I was ready to divorce him, and we still not in a good place. I don't trust him when he go to the store to get me a whatever, some ice cream. I think I used ice cream last week. Now we find out Melanie didn't let Letitia know. She said, girl, sometimes you just gotta let them know what they mean, what's going on. She said, I moved out, me and the kids went and got our own place for 6 months. I said, what? How we go from a rumor to she was gone for 6 months. And how did nobody know this? Either y'all deserve an Academy Award for the best acting job that I have ever seen, or y'all ain't as close as y'all trying to pretend like y'all are for the purposes of this show. Because how the hell y'all weren't living together for 6 months and ain't nobody know? Ain't nobody knew. Okay. I'm gonna let that one go. That one sort of hit me too, but I was like, I'm gonna pretend like I'm just gonna let that go. Because I just know that now I mean, people can do it, don't get me wrong. It can be done. I'm just saying. Anyway, so Letitia is listening to Melanie. Now, what Letitia got from that whole conversation was, is Melanie telling me to leave Marcel? I don't think that's what. That's why I said either you messy or you ditzy. Because I don't think Melanie. First of all, it was two different conversations. The one conversation was Melanie trying to encourage you to get out there, network, meet people, go to lunch, spend some time. She said, look, we having lunch right now. So just like you made time to meet me for lunch today, we can do the same thing and network with some of these women that you met at the event. Then we had a second conversation where she was talking about how bad things had gotten between her and Martell and where they're coming back from. It's two different conversations, Tisha. Although, it is weird that in the same lunch setting, you went from, I have the blueprint on how to make this work to, I left my husband for 6 months. But, okay. All right, cool. All right, whatever. Editing at its best. Okay. So then we see Letitia meet up with Kimmy. Let me tell y'all how Kimmy is my girl. I love Kimmy. Kimmy, when you come to D.C., you call me. Come through D.C., call me. We're going to hook up. Kimmy, you cool as shit. I love Kimmy. Kimmy went to her I don't want to say hairdresser, but she went to get her hair taken care of for Miami, honey. And her stylist, that's the word I was looking for. Her stylist's name is Crystal. And she was getting the hair taken care of or whatever, and Letitia comes in. She said, I just want to talk to you. I want to get your perspective. I met with Melanie, and Melanie was telling me Melody, and she was telling me how, she has the blueprint. And then she told me that she left Martell for 6 months. You think she telling me to leave Marcel? Kimmy was like, no. I don't think that's what she was saying. And if she is, that would be dumb advice that you don't need to listen to. But I don't think that's what she's talking about. And I was like, Letitia. And basically, Kimmy let her know. She said, look, what works for Melanie and Marcel is not Martell. So you can't take Melanie's advice because you have a different husband who has a totally different mindset and a different set of values on y'all's marriage. So you can't. It would be unfair of you to take that and connect it, and connect it with what your situation is with Marcel, because as we've learned again through these episodes, you and Marcel have a plan. Marcel is Marcel. He definitely still has some very archaic views on marriage and the roles of a man and a woman. However, what we found out is that you agreed to this. This was a conversation that y'all had, and you agreed to it. Now, granted, you are wanting to explore, you want to do other things, you want to move into other areas, and I'm not saying you shouldn't want to do that. We all are always evolving and growing and turning into different people. But understand that Melanie and Martell started on that place. We found out that you were able to convince him to allow you to get your license, your real estate license. So it seems like you can talk him into, and he will evolve into certain things, but you got to give him some time and you got to talk to him about it. But that definitely Melanie ain't the one to listen to, and it's not because Melanie's a bad person or the way they did their marriage is wrong. It's just that was right for them. The infidelity part, we'll get to that later, but the infidelity part is a whole nother conversation. But as far as what they decided to do, as far as working side by side and building their business together, that's what they decided to do together. You don't have that husband. So you can get all the advice you want from all your other girlfriends, but at the end of the day, their advice may not work for you because you don't have the same set of circumstances that they have, right? Okay. Then they got on the single mother piece. Now, last week, what in the world? I'm sorry, y'all. What is going on with my thing? Huh? I'm sorry. I was letting the episode play back, and then it cut off even earlier than it did the first. I don't know what's going on with my DVR, but anyway. So now it's saying it's 42 minutes on this episode, which is a full episode once you take out the commercials, but it's still cut off at 31 minutes. I don't know what's going on. If it play all the way through, I'll give y'all an all the way through review, but if it don't, I'll give y'all a part 2 later. So then they got on the single mother conversation, and with the single mother conversation, what we find out is that Melody, I mean, I was actually agreeing last week because I was like, I get where, I get how Kimmy would be necessarily offended by the whole single mother thing because she was a single mother and she went through certain things. But in my mind, I was like, I understood where Letitia was coming from, and I didn't think she was being disrespectful because I was like, shoot, Marcel didn't even know his son had a peanut allergy. He can't be that involved in the kids' lives. That was my mindset. But then once I heard Kimmy's side of it, and then even her hairstylist side of it, she was like, yeah, at the end of the day, you may not be getting a lot of support with the day-to-day, but what about when the child is sick in the middle of the night, but you still got to get up and go to work the next day because you can't afford to take off? You do have that extra body that, yeah, it might be a lot on you, and you might be doing pulling 80% of the load, but that extra 20% that Marceau does pull is the 20% that I didn't have. That's the 20% that Crystal doesn't have. And I was like, you know what, I get it. So with that, and coming from that point of view, I apologize that the way my mindset felt on last week, I didn't see it that way, and that's valid. And I feel like Letitia saw it too, and I was like, okay, true, valid. So that was that conversation. So then we get back to the house. They getting ready. They packing up for Miami. And Kimmy has a really good conversation with Monster. Remember, Monster is Maurice's son. And I thought it was a really cute conversation. And the one thing I love that Kimmy said, one, she said, I'm not 100% there yet, but I'm 100% ready to be stepmom. I said, okay. And she said the hardest thing is just making sure she maintains that balance between not stepping on anybody's toes, but being a good stepmom and a supportive stepmom and wife. Because she was like, because at the end of the day, his parents are parenting. I said, I know that's right. Because basically what she's saying is his mom and his dad are being mom and dad. I don't need to step into a role that's voided because there's no void there. I just need to find my place. And she said to Monster, you understand what's going on in Miami this weekend? He was like, yeah, you're marrying my dad. She was like, what does that mean? He said, you're making a commitment to my dad. I said, I know that's right. You better let him know you know what's going on in Miami, boo. So then she says, we're going to become a family. He said, we already a family. I said, you better go out of the mouths of babes. She said, oh, that almost made me cry. It almost made me cry too, Monster. But with that being said, Monster called his mama and told his mama, did you know my mom and that my dad and Kimmy are getting married on the yacht this weekend? Mama said, no. And you could tell that, I'm sure she knew they were getting married, but you could definitely tell it threw her off a little bit, the whole yacht piece of it. Like, I'm sure she was thinking, we ain't getting married on no damn yacht in Miami. But anyway, now let's move on over to the other side of town where the Holts are packing up and getting ready. Well, let's talk about Letitia and Marceau. So Letitia's talking to Marceau. They're packing up or whatever. And let me tell you something. I'm loving Marceau more and more every week. She's packing for Miami. She's showing him the bathing suit. He said, babe, why you not putting a 2-piece up in there? I said, you better tell your wife to put that 2-piece in that daggone luggage. She said, I'm not 2-piece ready. He was like, and so they got to talking, and she told him the conversation between her and Mel about the whole blueprint and all this other stuff. Marcel was like, look, let me explain something to you. He said, if a car is always comparing itself to the next car, it ain't gonna never get to its destination. He was like, we ain't moving like they moving. And he's being, in my mind, he's being as fair and as polite as he could possibly be without being downright throwing them under the bus, talking about, well, their marriage ain't shit and I ain't trying to follow behind that. But I think he's being really nice about saying, look, our marriage ain't their marriage, and I'm not taking advice from them. because they are not the blueprint of what I want my marriage to be. Letitia, I'm just not understanding why you keep focusing so much on Melanie and Martell. You know they're going through something right now. You know that their marriage right now is not in a good place. Why are you so focused on... I just don't understand why you're so focused on them. I'm not... But he lets her know. Don't be so focused on them. And they get ready. They packing up or whatever. Now I find it interesting. They're taking their kids, but the Holts are leaving their kids in Huntsville. Which I wish they had found a babysitter, because I think it would have been nice for them to leave the kids and just have a good weekend too. But again, different parenting styles, right? So let's go on over to the other side of town where the Holts are getting ready for the wedding. Honey, the conversation that they had before they got on that plane to go to Miami, honey, I'm thinking it might have been some legal papers waiting for somebody on the bed when we got back from Miami, because that conversation was some shit. Now, they get to talking or whatever, and basically, I ain't gonna get into the whole back and forth. I did take a few notes, but I ain't gonna get into the whole back and forth. But the one thing I thought was very interesting was Melanie, they got into a conversation. It started off with the whole bachelorette party thing. I'll get there in a second. But it started off with the whole bachelor party conversation. And, basically Melanie doesn't want him to do the whole bachelor party thing, because she doesn't want him to be tempted. And so they get to talking about, pretty much where the state of their marriage is right now and just kind of where they're feeling right now. And Melanie says, no, Marcel says, because I'm going to skip through the rest of the argument and get to the meat and potatoes. And the meat and potatoes was that Marcel basically said, you weren't taking care of your wifely duties, and so that's why I stepped out. And Melanie said, so that gives you an excuse to step out? And Martell said, yeah. So that's an excuse for you to step out. Melanie said, so what duties wasn't I taking care of? I mean, you weren't cooking. You weren't cleaning. You weren't cooking every night. You weren't cleaning. See, now you're starting to sound like Marcel, right? And then he said, you weren't satisfying me in the bedroom. Melanie said, excuse me? She said, first of all, I do cook. She said, I scrub toilets. I scrub bathtubs. She said, so... And as far as the bedroom, did you ever talk to me about that? Did you ever tell me that I wasn't satisfying you? See, you should have went. That's why you need some toys. From last week, you need the toys and the lingerie. You did. He said, well, I mean, we would be in bed and I would ask you to do stuff and you would say no. He was like, what do you think that meant? She said, I tell you what. Since you found, she said, so that means I gave you an excuse to cheat on me. She said, well, you didn't necessarily satisfy me in bed either. I said, you better get him. You better hit him where it hurts, because, man can't stand to hear that. I said, you better get him where it hurts, honey. So he said, well, what you mean? What? Oh, because I won't talk dirty. I ain't going to talk dirty. Okay, well, you won't do what I want you to do. I didn't do what you want me to do. She said, so that means I have an excuse to cheat? What? No. Oh, okay then. So just like it doesn't give me an excuse to cheat, it didn't give you an excuse to cheat. She said, I tell you what. Since you done found a woman that'll cook for you every night, that'll clean for you every night, that'll give you what you want in bed, why don't you go be with her? He said, because I don't want to be over there. He said, she said, but I don't understand. You just said that she's giving you everything you want. So I don't understand it. Why you won't go be with her? He said, well, in biblical times, you can have more than one wife. She said, I tell you what. She said, I'm not putting up with your shit. He said, so what you trying to say? You going to divorce me? She said, I don't know what I'm about to do. She said, but I know what I'm not getting ready to do is to keep sitting here and putting up with your bullshit. That's what's not getting ready to happen. So she says, he said, well, don't be threatening, because, I don't do no whole bunch of threatening. She said, oh, I don't threaten either, boo. I said, oh, okay. Things are worse than what I think we really thought they were. Okay, so now we're in Miami, y'all, and I'm talking too long. I ain't even got halfway through the damn episode. We're in Miami. So here's how it went down in Miami, people. First of all, let me tell y'all something. I remember, see, this is why I keep getting off topic. Before 9/11, right? Before airfare got to be ridiculous. Me and my crew used to go to Miami like it won't shit. We could hop on We could hop on a plane to Miami. You could do a round trip, weekend trip to Miami for less than $100. We could do a last minute hotel. Much as I hate to admit, Trump International was usually where we stayed a lot of times in Miami. But we could get cheap rooms. Should have thought about that then. But we would, and we was back in the day, we would sleep 5 to a hotel room. You know what I'm saying? Split that thing 5 ways, get a rental car. And when I tell you we used to get it in Miami, honey, Miami was my spot for a long time. Because, again, I was young. I ain't had no bills. I was still living at home with my parents, honey. I was good to go. I ain't have a car note. And I was working full-time job at that time. So back then, in my mind, I was making me some good money. Girl, we used to get it in Miami. Now, fast forward. I'm broke and I'm old now and I got a mortgage. So I'm going to Miami on the weekends. But we see where, what the heck? Son of a gun? Hold on, y'all. Y'all, I'm about to mess around and be late trying to get this review done for y'all. But that's how much I love y'all. That's how much I want to get this review out before we roll out. But, so we in Miami. The Holts are late. They MIA. Don't nobody know where the Holts are. Tisha keep asking about them. Kimmy said, look, let me explain something to you. Whoever's here is whoever we're going to celebrate with. If the Holts ain't here, the Holts ain't here. She was like, yeah, I'm a little bit worried. But at the end of the day, that monkey ain't stopping this show. And they all went out to lunch. It was the Scott brothers, because there's a third brother who's not like full-time on the show. But he was there. And the Holts was supposed to be there, but they weren't there yet. Come to find out, they must have missed a flight or had to change their plans, and they didn't get to Miami until late. So they had lunch, and it was all good. And again, this whole, what are you doing at the bachelor party? What are you doing at the bachelorette party? And Maurice done told Kimmy, look, what happens at the bachelorette party stays at the bachelorette party, because he wanted the same thing for him. She said, well, no, I'm going to ask you what went down. He said, well, can you ask me after the wedding? I said, Marcel trying to make it seem like talking about they gonna sit around, smoke cigars, and give him some words of wisdom on being married. I said, Marcel, if you don't go sit your ass down. And this is why I love Kimmy. Kimmy said, if you didn't want to tell us, that's all you had to say. You ain't had to give us this long diatribe. See, that's why I love Kimmy. Look, Kimmy, call me. I'll come to Huntsville and hang out with you, because I want to go to that toy shop that you went to last week that gives you champagne. Okay, I'll be there. Because Kimmy said, if you didn't want to tell us. So, Kimmy's bachelorette night is starting at Prime 112. If you've never been to Prime 112, check it out. It's a beautiful restaurant. I've been to the one in Miami a few times. It's great food. And it's a table full of women. So, she got a whole lot. She got a crew with her, okay? She is squad. Okay? She is squad. She comes up in there and she takes herself a hit of Patron, honey, before she even gets seated good. I'm going to say it was Patron. It looked like Patron. It was clear and it was probably tequila. So I'm going to say it was Patron. It might have been something totally different. Don't know. But Melanie was late, but she did show up. She was there, saying she just got in or whatever. And then we move over to the fellas. And the fellas, Martell showed up in a Miami Vice throwback. I don't know if he meant to, but he did. And Martell said he normally doesn't drink. But for that night, he's going to drink. He's going to get it in. He's going to party up. See, here's the thing. If you're a lightweight, first of all, if you're a lightweight, meaning you normally don't drink, you need to ease into it. Okay? Sip a little bit. You can slow walk it. Okay? That's number one. Number two, if you're a lightweight and you normally don't drink, then getting butt-ass drunk at a bachelor party, that's probably not a good move. When you already in the doghouse with your wife, with cameras, that's probably not a good move. So I already feel like this going in the wrong direction. It's going left. It's going left. Fast. Yeah. Alright, y'all. So let me say this. I apologize to Own. It wasn't you, it was me. I got the whole episode. So we're going to finish. But it wasn't a whole lot left. We're going to finish it up. So, the bachelor party. Maurice was living his best life, okay? Maurice had himself a good time. And I don't think they did anything wrong. I'm one of those people. I'm not that chick. So, I'm cool with the whole strip club thing. I'm cool with even getting lap dances. I'm cool with all of that. Like, it doesn't bother me. So nothing Maurice did that they showed on camera. Let me say that I would have been upset by if I were Kimmy. I mean, if anything, I'd have been upset at him dancing on that pole, looking a hot fool. That's what I'd have been upset at, because I'd have been like, I'm gonna need you to learn how to work the pole a little bit better. That's what. Now, Melanie on a different hand. Yeah, bruh. Them divorce papers probably be waiting for you when you get home. Okay? Yeah, bruh. Yeah. Like I said, not as a defense, but Martell can't drink. He's not a drinker. He can't drink. And he was throwing back hard liquor. Shots of hard liquor. He's fucked up. He's at the strip club and he is lap dances and grinding and having conversations. And, Marcel said he doesn't look like a man that's fighting for his marriage right now. And I said, well, maybe he's not. On the other side of town, for Kimmy done had Dave roll up on her and offer her a lap dance right there at Prom 12. I said, okay, Mr. Dave. They blurred out his face. His family must have been like, because Dave was clearly intoxicated, okay? He saw all that beautiful melanin and didn't know how to handle himself, honey. He didn't know what to do with himself, okay? But they had good fun. They had a party bus, and she had her squad. She had her bride-to-be outfit and her bridesmaids, or I'm with the bride outfits, and they on the party bus living their best life, honey. Life is fun. Party buses are fun. But poor Melody, she just was sitting on the sideline on her cell phone. She said, I just can't enjoy myself like I want to because I'm worried about what Martell is doing. Because I feel like that you should not open yourself up to temptation when you're already weak. And so I don't feel like he need to be in no strip club right now. I mean, I get that, but my thing is, I'm not about to mess up my good time worrying about your good time. We'll worry about that tomorrow morning. That's me. I'm gonna be on the party bus. I'm gonna be living my best life and putting my phone down. I'm gonna have me a good time. Enjoy your time with your girls, because whatever your husband's doing ain't changing. You sitting here worrying about it ain't gonna change it. Man, I know that's easier said than done. I'm on the outside looking in, so I can't say I wouldn't have been Melanie. You know what I mean? But from the outside looking in, girl, you better live your best life. You better get on that pole. You better throw some shots back. And deal with, because whatever Martell's going to do what Martell's going to do. Him being at the strip club ain't going to make him cheat. He already done that. Him being at the strip club ain't going to make him do anything different than he was going to already do. Now, him being drunk probably allowed him to make some bad decisions that maybe sober he might not have made. But again, at the end of the day, ain't nobody put a gun to his head to make him drink. Matter of fact, when he picked up the drink, they told him to take a shot. But when he kept going, they were like, ooh, are you sure? The other thing was cute was Mr. Hussein. Hussein was talking about how much he loved his wife, honey. And he got to crying, talking about how that's the best wife, and she gave him a kid. And I said, you better go ahead, Hussein, giving it to him all sentimental like at the bachelor party. But it was fun, y'all. It was a good episode. I talked a really long time. I'm so sorry for this long review. But I'm going to go on and leave it here. Y'all drop it in them comments. I'm headed to my girls' night in. We about to have ourselves a good time and turn it up, okay? Okay.